Welcome to Pulse episode 39. In this week's Starcraft news, we're going to have a look at patch 1.2's release date, the various awards the game and the players of it were nominated for, popular custom maps in Korea, Starcraft 2's superheroes, and much, much more. In the World of Warcraft news, we're going to have a look at the big moments of 2010, some upcoming class changes, zone walkthroughs with Alex Afrasiabi of Blizzard Entertainment, and obviously much, much more. Yes indeed, whoever said there'd be a lack of news over Christmas and the New Year was definitely mistaken. Let's get to it. Starcraft 2 patch 1.2 was released on the public test region a couple of weeks ago. It included features like chat channels, an extreme graphics option, and many balance changes. In a recent post on the official Starcraft 2 forums, Blizzard does say that the patch is set to go live in the first week of January. They do say that this is assuming PTR testing goes well in the last 2 weeks of December. Blizzard does mention that the final batch of fixes and optimizations is live, so if you really can't wait to check that out in the first week of January, you can always hop onto the PTR right now to give it a try. It really is great to finally see a release date on the patch. Read more about that below. Part 2 of 4 and Part 3 of 4 of the Heavens Devils Lost Transmissions posts have been released. These will reveal even more of the previously unreleased communications between UNN reporters Max Spear and Michael Liberty. As I mentioned before, each of these posts offers a glimpse into the maneuverings of the Confederacy and the Outlaws Jim Raynor and Tychus Finlay. So if you want to read the private texts between these two reporters that always seem to be walking the line, you can check that out below. PC Gamer has been dishing out various Game of the Year awards on their website, and it just so happens that Starcraft 2 was selected as Strategy Game of the Year. Not a big surprise there. Yes, yet another award that our favorite Blizzard RTS has snagged. The article lists the various reasons for picking Starcraft 2 as the Game of the Year, such as the stunning single player, the esports factor, and the community involvement. They even cover some of the great players and casters that make the game and the community what it is, so there's some great news for you and some good reading to boot. Check that out below. Big name gaming website Gamasutra has picked our very own Blizzard Entertainment as one of their top 5 development studios of 2010. Yes, the awards and praise just never stop coming. But it does make sense. This year Blizzard released StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty along with Battle.net 2.0. They held BlizzCon 2010, and let's not forget about the 4th World of Warcraft expansion, Cataclysm. So you can check the other companies that were mentioned alongside Blizzard below, and you can read a small write-up of each of them. Enjoy. Apparently, according to a friendly Team Liquid community member, the #1 custom map on the Korean Battle.net server is currently being translated to English, and we'll be able to see it on the North American and European servers soon. The map is called City Defense 2 and is rumored to be played 7,000 to 8,000 times an hour. That's quite a lot. We'll be seeing a new name for the English version, but everything else should remain intact. Apparently the map is 3v3, it's easy to learn but hard to master, and it is quite different from Dota. Lastly, we were told that many of the big name pro gamers in Korea play this in their downtime. Nex, OGS, FOU, TSL, yes, all of them. IMMVP even mentioned that he was actually addicted to the map during one of his winners interviews at the GSL. Yes, there are many pretty decent custom maps out there, but if a map can so completely conquer the Koreans' cold hearts, then I guess it's probably something worth seeing. Read the full thing below. The top 200 lists have, yet again, been updated, so find all those lists for all the different regions below. The guys from over at GomTV have officially announced their GSL 2011 sponsorship league following their open seasons of 2010. They basically just mentioned that 64 Code S and Code A players who were picked through their 3 open seasons will start duking it out in their first league next year. They go on to say that with the qualifiers out of the way, the fans can enjoy the highest possible quality of StarCraft 2 with a new match system in place for 2011. As it has previously been mentioned, there are 3 types of matches: Code S, Code A, and up and down matches. Lastly, it's just mentioned that the games are set to start on the 2nd of January and end on the 29th of January, so you better be there. The season tickets for their live streams have been reduced in price, so if you are on the fence about getting a ticket for the GSL 2011 seasons, this might well be a good enough reason. Kaspersky's New Year's StarCraft 2 Invitational is currently running. Below you can find the current results and replays of the event thus far, along with a link to the live stream. There are a couple of great players taking part, and the quality of the games has been pretty amazing, so if you want to follow that, check it out below, or just keep checking back here for results. Are Starcraft 2 players and casters superheroes? Well, some people sure think so. There's a rather brilliant post up on the Team Liquid forums with various renditions of Starcraft 2 personalities as superheroes? Yes, indeed. The Incredible Huck, Idra the Graken, Tasteman and Artoban, and many, many others. I gotta say, those are pretty entertaining, and the list is constantly being updated with new pieces of work. Be sure to leave a comment of appreciation on that thread, because this is, safe to say, something we want to see more of. I guess tying in with PC Gamer's awards that I mentioned previously, they've also chosen a Starcraft 2 player and community member as their Gamer of the Year. Who, you ask? Well, PC Gamer's Gamer of the Year is none other than Starcraft 2 legend and pillar of the community, Sean Day9 Plot. In short, they say that Day9's desire to constantly help the community out made him their Gamer of the Year. In the article, they discuss his life leading up to Starcraft 2, how his Day9 dailies came about, the huge impact he's making on the esports community and the rest of the world, and much, much more. So if you want to read all the reasons for them picking Day9 as their Gamer of the Year, then you can check that out below. In some smaller news, the second issue of Team Liquid's Ponytails has been released, just in time for the Christmas holidays. High production value, check. Amazingly good quality, check. Silly Team Liquid antics, check. An interview with a sleeping Jinro, check, check, and check. Yes, you have to check out the latest episode of Ponytails because it is in fact packed chock full of everything that makes up awesome. G4 TV has an interview up with well-known and ever-creative Starcraft 2 player QXC. They talk to him about the EG Masters Cup, his performance there, how Starcraft 2 is treating him in general, and about some philosophies behind his playstyle. The website Goes Through Trolling has a nice interview up with a North American Zerg player, Navi, who just happens to be a female too. She's apparently just shy of 2k points on the ladder and regularly practices with the Reddit community members. She took the first place in the first ever ESL Starcraft 2 Female Cup on the US servers. This cup is set to happen every Monday from here on out. She talks about how she got involved in Starcraft 2, her practice routines, the best and worst parts of her play, and she even covers a few of the games that she had during the cup. Definitely a pretty fun read and worth checking out, so you can read that below. Now I have 3 fairly entertaining YouTube videos to share with you all. First up, we have the Pimpest Plays of 2010. This is exactly as the name suggests, fan-chosen best plays of Starcraft 2 in 2010. Pure Miss over on the Team Liquid forums recently posted this, along with promises of a volume 2 coming soon. There are some amazing clips in this video, it's well put together, and there's some pretty cool music, so I absolutely can't wait for the second volume. You can check that out below. Totalbiscuit has definitely been on the mind for the last couple of days with all his videos he's been releasing over the Christmas time, and now it just gets worse. Or better? Or worse. No, I think worse. Why, you ask? Well, he teams up with the Reddit community to provide us with a reading of The Grack Before Christmas. Thanks to Totalbiscuit for the dramatic reading, and thanks to the guys over at Reddit for coming up with this. It'll definitely add some cheer to your holiday. Enjoy. Next we have Day9 Made Me Do It, a pretty hardcore rap about Day9 and his apparent influence on the rapper himself. Suspense. It really is a treat and worth listening to. Whether you like rap or not, you'll probably enjoy this one. You can find that in the links below, and I will be adding annotations to the video sooner rather than later. The registrations for the next Polar Fluke tournament, Polar Fluke All In, are now live. This is set to be the first South African Starcraft 2 tournament of 2011, and I've been told it's going to be one to remember. The tournament is set to kick off on Saturday the 8th of January, with registrations closing that same day at 12 PM. The prizes have yet to be announced, and when we near the weekend of the 8th, we'll be treated with the list of the registered players. The structure remains the same as the previous Polar Fluke tournaments, with the group stages happening on Saturday and the single elimination brackets on Sunday. This tournament is also said to be a great warm-up for those participating in the Starcraft 2 Do Gaming Championships, which start a mere 2 weeks after the event. So if you're interested in registering for Polar Fluke All In, then you can find a nice list below covering all the details you'd want to know about the competition. That's all I have for you for Starcraft today, so let's head on over to the Warcraft news. Cody from over at World of Raids has a very interesting article up covering the top moments of World of Warcraft in 2010. What happened in World of Warcraft this year that's worth dedicating an entire post to? Well, it is arguably the biggest year for World of Warcraft since its launch. Arthas Menethil, the Lich King, was killed, the entire raiding system was redesigned, the real ID system was released, Wrath of the Lich King was launched in China, Azeroth was shattered, and World of Warcraft Cataclysm was released to shatter sales records. That alone is quite a lot, and it doesn't even include all of it. You'll have to check below for the entire thing, but it is definitely worth looking at because it covers all the fun, rage, and controversy of 2010. Big thanks to Cody for putting it together. Enjoy. Blizzard just recently put up the first in a series of posts that's set to cover the transformations the big characters in World of Warcraft have undergone over the past couple of years. The first post has a pretty detailed look at Thrall, the former war chief of the Horde. They mostly look at the big changes that came with Cataclysm, but also have a look at his past, a look at what made him into the orc that he is today. We will apparently be seeing more posts about other key characters, including Garrosh, Anduin Wrynn, and Magni Bronzebeard, to name a few. You can check that post out below, and it does include a couple of really cool screenshots and artwork of the Thrall of then compared to the Thrall of now. I gotta say, the Thrall of then definitely does look a lot better now. Check that out below. Yes, even more hotfixes. These have become sort of expected already. The notable changes in the December 27th list of hotfixes include the following. Winning as an attacker in Tol Barad now rewards 1,800 honor points, up from 180. Winning as a defender still rewards 180 points. The heal from Druid's Frenzied Regeneration was too powerful and has been reduced by 50%. Lastly, Graveyard Rats are no longer considered critters and no longer count towards the Critter Kill Squad guild achievement. So if you want to read the rest of those fixes, improvements and changes, you can check the full list out below. Blizzard has a new post up covering all the changes they are considering making to the classes in World of Warcraft. They say that the class design team has a lot more to work with now that so many players are level 85 and doing all their level 85 content. Ghostcrawler has, yet again, covered all those proposed changes in a pretty lengthy, yet still fun to read post. So if you do check that out, they mention that you have to remember that even if your class or pet problems aren't on that list, that doesn't mean they aren't looking at it internally. Lastly, they say that the next patch is not in fact coming out tomorrow, so there is still time. Definitely worth a read, and they ended the post off with the following line. Greg, Ghostcrawler Street, is the lead systems designer for World of Warcraft. He uses words like potpourri. Blizzard's lead world designer Alex Afrasiabi recently collaborated with G4TV to take players on a guided tour through the new Cataclysm zones. He proceeds to share some of their plans for the zones in the future and what we can expect from them. While the videos themselves are pretty cool, the information gleaned from them is a lot more impressive. There's way too much information to cover in this episode, so I'm going to give you the links to those videos and you can check them out yourselves. There are about 8 videos to watch and I definitely suggest you check them out. Thanks to G4TV and Alex Afrasiabi for those. Enjoy. In some smaller World of Warcraft news, the Blue Poster Zarhim has spoken up about the difficulty of heroics in Cataclysm. Are heroics too hard? Definitely not, according to Blizzard. They say that they are meant to be that way and they act as a true and necessary stepping stone for players that want to get into raiding. They want us thinking and trying new approaches through trial and error in order to succeed. Kind of like guilds do in raiding. They do mention that it will get easier over time as players get better gear and used to the encounters, but agree or not, you can read the whole thing below. Is the days mechanic any use? Is it just an irritation that Blizzard should have long ago removed? In short, Blizzard says that at any level, the world should still feel alive and present some sort of threat, even if that threat only involves slowing you down en route to your destination. Added to that, knowing how to plot a route around monsters or now fly over them seems pretty meaningful. So if you want to read all about the pain and suffering that the days mechanic causes, you can check that post out below. Blizzard recently admitted that the Tol Barad Battleground is stacked unfairly in the defenders' favor. They are planning on addressing these issues soon. They let us know that they are working on a blog post to cover all the changes and improvements set to be made to Tol Barad. We were also told that we can expect that post in the first week of January after the holiday break. We've seen World of Warcraft on pretty much every platform and in pretty much every form, but here's something we haven't seen yet. In the video below, you'll be able to see Evan Suma of the Institute of Creative Technologies playing World of Warcraft on the Microsoft Kinect. While what he's doing in game is not actually that impressive, the fact that he's doing it all with bodily gestures, if you even say it like that, is is pretty impressive indeed. The technology is being developed as a middleware program to be able to play off-the-shelf games which you normally wouldn't be able to play with your Kinect. Sure, we won't be using it for hardcore raiding anytime soon, but it is still pretty neat. Check that out below. Raided Battlegrounds have not received the best welcome thus far. They've been criticized as being useless after the player reaches his conquest points cap for the week, which is fairly easily obtainable. So in response, Blizzard has just announced that Raided Battlegrounds will still provide conquest points even when you're capped. Interesting. Well, I think if anything that's enough reason to get a group together and get cracking. You can check that full quote below. Lastly, Totalbiscuit has provided us with some festive tunes to boost the spirits this holiday season. Yes, that is correct. An exclusive Totalbiscuit Christmas album is now available for download and streaming. A very trolley Christmas indeed. You can find Hark the Wrath Babies and Mock the Fools linked below, and I will just tell you right now that you have to listen to these. Hell, get your entire family to listen to them. Sadly, there's no Diablo news this week. Hopefully in the new year we're going to be seeing a lot more from Diablo 3. Remember, click the like button, share it with your friends, do all that good stuff, and most importantly, happy Starcrafting.